Welcome to this Page Object Model Selenium WebDriver tutorial. Page Object Model is also called POM. In this POM Selenium tutorial, I will explain the need of Page Object Model, what is Page Object Model in Selenium, and advantages of Page Object Model. Then I will show an actual Page Object Model Selenium Java example. Finally, I will explain the Page Object Model in Selenium WebDriver step-by-step guide. First, what is the need of Page Object Model? In Selenium WebDriver, you may have multiple test cases like test case 1, 2 and 3 interacting with multiple web pages like web page 1 and web page 2. For example, test case 1, test case 2 and test case 3 all interact with web page 1. These test cases have duplicate code for web element locators and operations if you don't use a page object model. One locator changes in web page 1. Because of this, you have to update all the test cases where that particular locator is written. Also, since you have the web page specific information and test logic in these test cases, your test cases are long and perhaps less readable. This is an example of a test case that does not use the page object model. So here we can see that the web page specific information, for example the locators for distance, speed, travel time, etc. are present in the same test case, and then the operations are present in the same test case, and the actual validation which belongs to the test logic all are present in the same method. So what is Page Object Model? It is a software design pattern that is recommended and widely used in test automation. Now your tests interact with certain elements of the web pages. These web elements are modeled in the Page Object Model. The advantages of Page Object Model are reduced code duplicity of the code to find the web elements and interact with them, increased maintainability because if the UI changes, the update needs to be done in a single place, and increased readability because the web page specific code and test methods are separate. In this Selenium Java tutorial, I will use MaxTAF Cloud, the free Selenium framework using Java. Now I will create the POM Selenium Java or Page Object Model for Selenium scripting. This is my blog, Software Testing Space. The link for this is in the bottom of the description. And it has a web page called Demo Web Application. Now in the Demo Web Application, there are a couple of text boxes and a drop down. So for example, I can type here 1000 miles as the distance, and average travel speed I can give as 50 miles per hour, and travel time per day is 8 hours. If I click on the calculate travel days button, it is going to show 2.5 days, and I can inspect these web elements. Right click on it and click on inspect. So the ID for the distance input box is distance, for the speed box the ID is speed, etc. Now in MaxTAF Cloud I am going to create a case. So I have already created a free account and logged into MaxTAF. So click on the add case button, and I am going to call the case Page Object Model Selenium WebDriver, and keep the default settings and click on the create button and click on the script tab. Now MaxTAF Cloud has generated the default case. Let me go to the bottom, and here let me remove most of this code here. Now this is the class that was generated by MaxTAF cloud. Now I'm going to put a single line comment here. Selenium Java page object model. Now I can create the class for the home page of the blog. So class home page. Now I have not put public or private here. That means this is a default. So default class will work in the same package. Now here I have to give whatever is the page specific information. But first let me write protected WebDriver, and I am going to call the variable as driver. This WebDriver is going to come from the test method. Then I am going to have the base URL, a private, and the variable type in Java is string. Base URL is equal to, and this is the URL of the blog. Then I need the demo web application link also. So another private string variable, private string app link is equal to, and just paste that part of the link which is not in the domain. Now I can create the home page method. So home page, and here I have the driver variable. Now if you notice, the name of this method is the same as the name of the class. That is because this method is a constructor. In the test method, when I create an object of the home page class, then this method will automatically be executed. Now I am going to write the code here. This dot driver is equal to driver. So what it means is that this driver is whatever driver was given at the time of creating the home page object, and this in Java means the current object which was created by the test method. So I have set up a reference to the WebDriver that is going to do the actual work. Then driver.get, this is the navigation command, and it has to go to base URL. Now in page object model, the web page should have the validation that it is the correct web page. So I am going to use the title, but you can do this validation for any critical web elements that need to be there, otherwise the page object will not be created correctly. So the title of this one is software development and testing articles, tutorials and help guides. So I'll use some of that title. So if Java if statement, after if we give brackets, driver dot get title dot index of method is to find a string. So my title of the home page has to contain testing. If it does not contain testing, that means index of method will return -1. Then I can throw an illegal state exception. Throw new illegal state exception. So this if statement has only one statement, and I don't need to put it within the curly braces, and I can give what is the exception text here. You are not on the home page of the application under test. So that completes the constructor of this home page object. Then the home page provides some services. So one service provided by the home page is get title. So I can create a method string get title. So the return type is string, and this method will return driver dot get title. Now the main service provided by the home page is navigation to the app. So I'm going to give the return type of this method as AppPage and call the method as navigate app. I want to navigate to the app page, so I'm going to write driver dot get base URL, plus is for string concatenation in Java, app link, and after every Java statement we have to put a semicolon. So the WebDriver will navigate to the demo web application page, and then because the return type is app page, which I've yet to write, I'm going to return that. Return new app page driver. So this completes the class for the home page. Now if I compile this code, it is not going to compile because the app page class has not been written. So let me continue and write that. So single line comment, continue the page object model in Selenium WebDriver Java. So this class, the name is AppPage, and here also it is going to work with WebDriver. So I'm going to put protected WebDriver driver, and now this has all these distance box, speed box, travel drop down, etc. So I'm going to declare all the bys here, and the import statements are already at the top, so I don't need to write other import statements here. A private variable, and the type of the variable is by. Distance by is equal to by dot id, and the id I showed you for the distance input box is distance, and similarly for the speed by also. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Speed by is id was speed, and then private by travel time, this is for the drop down. Travel time by is equal to by dot id, and the id is hours for the drop down. Then for the calculate travel days button, I'm going to call it calculate by, and the id of that calculate button is calculate, and the result comes in a result div. So I'm going to create another variable result by, and the ID of that is result. So these are all the locators that are needed in the app page, and these are private variables. That means they are not going to be exposed to the test method. They are all internal, and this is the only place in the project where the app page locators are kept. So if they need to be updated, they need to be updated only at this place. Now I am going to write the constructor, the method with the same name as the class name. So AppPage is the name of that constructor method, and it's going to have WebDriver as a parameter. This is the method definition, constructor method definition. This dot driver is equal to driver. So when app page object is created, this method will be automatically executed, and this in Java, as I said, means the current object of the app page class. Now after the constructor, I need to write the method for the service provided by the app page. So the main service provided by the app page is telling us how many travel days are there. So I'm going to create a method string calculate travel days. This is going to have 3 parameters for giving the distance, speed, and travel time per day. String D for distance, string S for speed, and string H for hours, travel hours per day. I can write the find elements here because this has to provide the end result of calculating the travel days on the web page. So first, driver dot find element, and first I want to find the distance. So distance by is already created here, so I'm going to copy this. Driver dot find element distance by, and once this web element is found, then send keys, and I'm going to send this D here. Now similarly for speed, so I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So driver dot find element speed by, and send keys S from the parameters. Now I have to find that drop down. So for that I need an import statement. So let me go to the top where all the import statements are. Import org.openqa.selenium.support.ui.select. In the calculate travel days method, I can use a select class. So I'm going to write select is a type, travel time is equal to new select, and here I can give driver dot find element, and what I have to find is travel time by, Now once the travel time select object is available, I can call the select by visible text method. Travel time dot select by visible text, and I can use the H parameter here. So the 3 inputs are given. Now I need to click on the calculate travel days button. So for that, driver dot find element, and what I have to find is calculate by this one here, and once this web element is found, call the click method on it. Now once the calculate travel days button is clicked, the result will be available in the result web element, so I can return that. Return driver dot find element result by dot get text, that gives the text. So that is the AppPage class, and let me put a single line comment here. Selenium page object model complete. So this is a page object model of the two web pages. So that is how to implement POM in Selenium. I will write the test method now in Selenium using Java. Now let me go to the test method. So it has just one line, driver.manage.window.maximize to maximize the browser window. And because I'm using the page object model, now the code is going to be very simple. So first let me create the home page object. So the type is home page and I'm going to call it H, and just like we create any Java object, home page H is equal to new home page and give the argument as driver. So this will create a home page object, and the constructor of the home page is also going to be executed. Now in order to create the page object model framework, I can also implement logging. So that is built into MaxTAF Cloud. MX service dot add log line, and I can put the log entry as the home page title is, and use the service of the home page, which is get title. I have to create the AppPage object, so the type is going to be AppPage and I am going to call it A is equal to, now this will come from the navigate app method of the home page object. So H is the home page object dot navigate app. So this will give the demo web application object, and here let me call the calculate travel days method. So I'm going to store the result in a variable in the test method. String res is equal to AppPage object dot calculate travel days. And what is the distance that I want to give? I want to give 1000 miles as a distance. Speed I want to give as 50 miles an hour, and travel time every 24 hours is 8 hours. So calculate travel days is a service provided by the AppPage. This is going to compute it and put the result in the res variable. Now I can log this also. MX service dot add log line and log the res variable. Now I can also implement screenshots if I am creating page object model framework. So for that I have to write a couple of import statements. So go to the top where all the import statements are, and I have to import output type, import org dot openqa dot selenium dot output type, that is one import statement. Other import statement is import org dot openqa dot selenium dot takes screenshot. Now go back to the test method, and after the result has been computed by the app page, I can take a screenshot. MX service has a method called save screenshot, and as the argument I have to give takes screenshot, and this is the type driver dot get screenshot as, and here I have to give the output type. So output type is bytes. Output type dot bytes. So this whole line will take a screenshot once the calculate travel days is computed. I'm going to put a single line comment for the validation. Selenium with Java validation. Now in the page object model implementation, the validation should always happen in the test method, because that is where the logic should be. The validation should not be in the page object. So here I'm going to put the validation using if statement. So if res has the result dot index of, and I am expecting that there should be written 2.5 days. 2.5 days is equal to -1. That means 2.5 days was not found in the result. I can fail the test case. JUnit assert dot assert equals, and my expected is true and the actual is false. So this is going to fail the test case, and if this condition is not true, it was able to find it, then I can pass the test case. Now this bracket is for the if statement. Now let me save it and compile it. The case is compiled. Now Selenium testing in the Selenium POM tutorial. So I'm going to click on run and click run again. So MaxTAF Cloud has started the case execution. It is showing the video also. The case execution is complete. The result is a pass, and let us look in the log. So it says the home page title is software development and testing articles. So testing is present here. So this is okay, and total travel days is equal to 2.5 days. And let us look at the screenshot also. Double click on it, and it has put the data 1000 as the distance, 50 as the speed, 8 hours every 24 hours, etc. Now I mentioned that the advantages of page object model are reduced code duplicity, increased maintainability, and increased readability. Let me close this and close the run details. Now here in the app page, we can see that the code has not been duplicated across the test cases. It is present only in one place, and this leads to increased maintainability also. Suppose any of these locators change, then the change needs to be made only in this place. Or suppose instead of calculate travel days button click, something else needs to happen in order to make the calculation. So only this method needs to be updated. And in the test method, it is shorter because it does not have any locators or any services related information to the web page. So the readability is now increased. The link of this case is in the bottom of the description, so you can go to that link and view this case and run it also. Now page object model in Selenium WebDriver step-by-step guide. So first you have to create a separate class for each web page with page specific code, for example locators and page services or page operations. Then a page object should verify that the correct web page and critical web elements are loaded, else it should throw an exception because nothing is going to work if it is not the correct web page. Then a guideline is that a page object should expose only the services and hide all the HTML locators and layout details, etc. And assert should not be in the page object but in the test method. So that's all in this Selenium page object model tutorial. I hope that you learned what is POM in Selenium and how to implement Selenium page object model Java. Please view all my Selenium tutorials in this Selenium training. My Selenium videos start from the Selenium tutorials for beginners Java. Thank you.